Hey guys, I'm Dan from Generation Y, and today I'm going to talk about the Oregon protesters. It seems like, according to my Facebook feed at least, that has caused a huge stir between, conservatives, liberals, everybody. So today I'm going to dive into it and give you the facts that you need to properly debate it. So what is happening right now is that there's a huge controversy going on with these Oregon protesters, and it's basically, a bunch of what you're going to hear is white men who are armed, and they're being called terrorists because they're trying to defend this guy, Dwight and Stephen Hammond, who were, I believe, unfairly sent to prison. But here's what happened from one of the reports. In 2006, a massive lightning storm started multiple fires that joined together, inflaming the countryside. To prevent the fire from destroying their winter range and possibly their home, Stephen Hammond, the son of Dwight, started a backfire on their private property. Now, these two men, they own a ranch, and what happened was a storm, a strike of lightning hit their farm and started a huge fire on it. The backfire was successful in putting out the lightning fires that had covered thousands of acres within a short period of time. The backfire saved much of the range and vegetation needed to feed the cattle through the winter. Stephen's mom, Susan Hammond, said the backfire worked perfectly. It put out the fire and saved the range and possibly our home. And now, the next day, the federal agents, this is after the fire, the federal agents went in to the sheriff's office and filled a police report making accusations against Dwight and Stephen Hammond for starting the backfire. And they're basically trying to say that they started on public land intentionally. So now the Bureau of Land Management, which is a federal agency, is getting involved in this, and they're trying to say that Stephen and Dwight Hammond intentionally lit this land on fire, and they're trying to say that they're terrorists or they're arsonists, and it's caused a huge, problem for their family, for their business, all their friends, everything. So now, fast forward, they got sent to a trial. This is after their home gets raided by the feds. And they couldn't find a single lick of evidence, supporting their case that they were lighting this land on fire intentionally. So what happened now is that they get sentenced to jail under some death penalty law, which either says they have to be sent for, 5 years or to death. So they get sentenced to 5. So, okay, that's a lot to digest. But now we have protesters who are taking arms. They never said that they were going to, just go around shooting people, like federal agents. They're just simply occupying land and fighting for this guy's right and for his property. That's what's happening. And now you see people on, all social media, in the on the news saying that these men are terrorists because they have guns. Not really, because they, one, are doing it peacefully. 2, they're actually trying to go after this group because it's led by Cliven Bundy's son. If you remember, Cliven Bundy was the Nevada rancher whose land was actually trying to be taken over by the BLM as well, the Bureau of Land Management. So, okay, now we have, these protesters. They're trying, they're being called and labeled all these false names and being accused of a bunch of BS, really. And, I just like to set the record straight. These guys, these men are not doing anything except for fighting for the right, for this man's property and for his life. Because family lives are being, this guy's family is pulled apart now. And that's not fair. He has a damaged record. He has a damaged business. All for what? Defending his land and his cattle so that he can continue to make business, with his ranch. So, it's really unfair to attack these guys. But then when, in Ferguson and Baltimore, when there were looters and rioters after shootings, they get a free pass. They weren't called terrorists. So why is that? It seems like there's a definite biasy and hypocrisy and double standard in the media and even with the left. So, let's set the record straight here. These men are not doing any harm, but they are peaceful. They just want to make a statement. And they have their arms. That's what the Second Amendment is about. It's not to defend your house. It's to defend yourself against intrusive government. And that's what they're doing. The government's trying to take away this man's land and his life, and these protesters are taking up arms. So, Oregon protesters, I support you, and thanks for listening, guys.